Peppa Pig and the Lucky Ducks.
Bonk, bonk.
Peppa and George have come to visit the ducks. They see one pond, but the ducks aren't home.
The ducks have gone on an adventure, George,
says Peppa.
They're so lucky,
says George. Peppa and George want to go on an adventure too. They want to find those lucky ducks.
Bonk.
Let's go,
says Peppa. On the way, Peppa and George jump in 2 muddy puddles. They see 3 birds, but no lucky ducks.
Oh no!
George points. There are 4 worms. Peppa sees 5 sunflowers. And look, there are 6 ladybugs on the leaves.
Wow!
Granny Pig loves her garden gnomes. Peppa counts 7. Granny Pig hasn't seen any ducks today. Grandpa Pig's garden has 8 heads of lettuce and 9 carrots.
Look, George,
says Peppa.
there are 10 snails.
Says George. There are 11 bees. Cheep, cheep. And 12 baby chicks. What's that scurrying around the 13 potted plants? 14 ants.
Have you seen any lucky ducks?
asked Peppa. Outside Granny Pig's chicken coop, 15 chickens are pecking in the soil. George wants to play frog. He jumps up and down. Peppa counts 16 frogs. George chases butterflies. He's not as fast as they are, and there are 17 of them. But he's faster than the 18 turtles resting in the shade. Mummy Pig loves flowers. There are 19 pretty ones here. Peppa turns around.
Bonk, bonk, bonk.
Ducks, there you are,
she says. Peppa and George count 20 lucky ducks. Peppa and George have had an adventure. They are lucky too. The end. Peppa Pig, Peppa and her golden boots. It was the day of the big puddle jumping competition. Peppa and her friends were practicing jumping up and down in muddy puddles.
My daddy always wins,
boasted Peppa.
He said the first rule of puddle jumping is to wear your boots, and mine are very special because they are made of gold.
They are not gold, replied Susie Sheep.
They're yellow. They are not yellow, they're real plastic gold,
protested Peppa. Would anyone like some orange juice? Called Mummy Pig from the house. Yes, please, replied everyone. They ran inside, leaving their boots outside the front door. When Peppa and her friends had finished their juice, they headed outside to put on their boots.
Oh no, my boots have gone, sobbed Peppa. Mr. Zebra arrived with the post. I've just seen a duck with boots on, he said. Peppa sniffed. Were they gold? No, yellow, he replied. Mrs. Duck came running down the hill wearing Peppa's golden boots. Peppa ran after her. Mrs. Duck, can I please have my boots back, please? But Mrs. Duck did not want to give Peppa's boots back. She didn't stop running until she reached Captain Dog's boat. No one could stop Mrs. Duck. She leapt into the water and swam away. Captain Dog started his engine. I think my boat can go faster than that duck, he exclaimed. But Captain Dog's boat could not keep up with Mrs. Duck. That's a fast duck, he said. Mrs. Duck finally stopped at a little island where Grampy Rabbit had been shipwrecked when his boat capsized. Mrs. Duck has my boots and she won't give them back, Peppa called. Don't worry, Peppa, replied Grampy Rabbit. Mrs. Duck has nowhere to go. But then Mrs. Duck started flying and she was still wearing the boots. Oh no, cried Peppa. Mrs. Duck is flying to the moon with my boots. Don't worry, Peppa, said Grampy Rabbit, pointing to the neighbouring island. We'll take my rocket. I really don't think Peppa's boots will be on the moon, said Mummy Pig. Nonsense, insisted Grampy Rabbit, helping everyone into the rocket. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off! On the moon, Peppa and her friends searched everywhere for Mrs. Duck and the golden boots. Let's ask at the shop, suggested Susie Sheep. You don't get shops on the moon, exclaimed Daddy Pig. Postcards, called Mrs. Rabbit from inside her gift shop. Ice cream, buckets and spades. Meanwhile, Grandpa Pig had spotted Mrs. Duck in his garden. Those aren't your boots, are they? He asked. He quickly dialed Daddy Pig's number. Oh, hello, Grandpa Pig, said Daddy Pig. Yes, Peppa has lost some boots. We'll be right there. Next stop, Grandpa Pig's garden, announced Grampy Pig. Peppa bounced excitedly out of the rocket. My boots, my golden boots, she exclaimed. Thank you, Grandpa. Grandpa Pig helped Peppa to put her boots on. Now we can go to the puddle jumping competition, said Mummy Pig. Oh, yes, agreed Daddy Pig. We'd better hurry. The big puddle jumping competition was about to begin. First up, Daddy Pig, cried Mr. Potato. Daddy Pig took a giant leap and made a very big splash. Then it was Mr. Elephant's turn, and Mr. Elephant made an even bigger splash. Mr. Elephant is the winner, announced Mr. Potato. Peppa cleared her throat. Please, can I have a go too? She asked. Oh, of course, replied Mr. Potato. And can all of my friends help? Peppa added. Mr. Elephant was not pleased. Hang on, I don't think that's really it. Sounds perfectly fair to me, interrupted Daddy Pig. Peppa and her friends formed a circle and held hands. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, they all chanted. Jump! Whee! Peppa and her friends made the biggest splash ever. Peppa and her friends are the winners, declared Mr. Potato. I still think, began Mr. Elephant. Hooray! Everyone cheered loudly. Peppa loved her golden boots.
Everyone loved their boots, and everyone loved the big puddle jumping competition. The Peppa Pig Flip Flap Peppa. Peppa loves dressing up.
Wow!
Who will she be today? Peppa is a daring explorer. She's hunting high and low. I'm ready for adventure. Looking for things to discover. Peppa is a grown-up lady. She's going out to the shops, smelling of Mummy Pig's perfume.
Wow!
Look at my lovely shoes. Peppa is a brave firefighter. She's ready for an emergency, wearing yellow waterproofs. Everything is under control. Peppa is a caring nurse. She's always ready to help with her first aid kit. I'll make you better, George. Peppa is a flying superhero. She's disguised in a shadowy mask, wearing a magic super cape. I will save the day. Peppa is a fairy tale princess. She lives in a royal palace with her little pet mouse. Let's ride in our carriage, Sir George. Peppa is a clever scientist. She wants to zoom into space in her powerful rocket. I love looking at the stars. Peppa is a hungry tiger. She's prowling through the jungle with her animal friends. Peppa is a seafaring pirate. She's about to sail the ocean blue, looking for some treasure. Ahoy there, me hearties! Peppa is a magic witch. She can fly through the starry skies on her magical broom. I'll turn you into a frog. The end. Peppa goes camping. Today, Peppa and George are very excited. They are going on holiday. Daddy Pig has a surprise. It's a camper van, grunts Daddy Pig. Wow! gasp Peppa and George. We're going on a holiday, sings Peppa. We're going on a holiday in our camper van. Says Daddy Pig, looking at the map. Daddy Pig, cries Mummy Pig, are we lost? Well, begins Daddy Pig. Yes. Grandad Dog and Danny Dog arrive. Hello, calls out Peppa. We're lost. Lost? asks Grandad Dog, confused. Is your sat-nav broken? Peppa, George, Mummy and Daddy Pig don't know what a sat-nav is. Sat-nav is a computer that helps you find your way, explains Grandad Dog. Welcome to the car of the future, bleeps the sat-nav. Can you tell us where to go? asks Peppa. Go straight, replies the sat-nav. Daddy Pig thanks Grandad Dog and the family continue on their way. We're going on a holiday, sings Peppa. We're going on holiday in our camper van. Suddenly, the camper van is low on oil, but Daddy Pig can't find the engine. Mummy Sheep and Susie Sheep arrive in their car. Hello, Susie, cries Peppa. We've lost our engine. Lost your engine? Replies Mummy Sheep. I don't know a thing about engines, says Mummy Sheep, but I'll have a look. I'm probably wrong, but this looks like an engine, says Mummy Sheep, lifting the boot. Well spotted, Mummy Sheep, gasped Daddy Pig, pouring oil into the engine. Daddy Pig thanks Mummy Sheep, and the family are off again. Are we nearly there yet? Asked Peppa, sighing. Just up the next hill, says the sat-nav. You have reached your destination, says the sat-nav when they get to the top of a steep hill. Hooray! Everyone cheers. Time for bed, says Mummy Pig. Peppa and George put on their pyjamas. But where will we sleep? Asked Peppa. Mummy Pig and I will sleep on this bed, says Daddy Pig, pressing a button. Ta-da! A lovely big bed appears in the room. And you two will sleep upstairs like you always do, says Mummy Pig. Watch this, says Daddy Pig, pressing another button. Brrr. Suddenly the camper van's roof lifts up and a bunk bed appears. Daddy Pig tucks Peppa and George into bed. The camper van is just like our little house, says Peppa. Good night, everyone, says the sat-nav. Sleep well. The end. George's racing car. Peppa, George, Daddy Pig and Grandpa Pig are watching racing cars on television. It's such a lovely day, you should go outside and play, Granny Pig says. What shall we do? Asked Daddy Pig. Says George. George wants to play racing cars, sighs Peppa. Let's build him one, says Grandpa Pig. He finds an old pram in his shed. Clever Grandpa Pig turns the pram into a pedal car.
Wow!
What's your favourite number, George? Asks Daddy Pig. George replies. Daddy Pig paints a big 2 on the car's bonnet. Along come Danny Dog, Zoe Zebra and Pedro Pony. Look at George's racing car, says Peppa. We'll race you 3 times around the garden, George, they cry. Go! Peppa shouts, waving a checkered flag. At the end of lap 2, George is in the lead until one of his wheels comes off. I'm the chief mechanic, cries Peppa. I can fix it. George gets back in the race, but now he's last.
Oh no!
Granny Pig comes outside to see what the noise is all about. Come on, George, she shouts. Meow, he says, pedalling as fast as he can. Go, George, go, snort Peppa, Daddy Pig and Grandpa Pig. George finally takes the lead and zooms across the finishing line. George is the winner, declares Grandpa Pig. Well done, George, says Peppa. You're the best racing driver in the whole world. George agrees. And you've got the best chief mechanic in the whole world too, adds Daddy Pig. Yes, that's me, says Peppa, pointing to herself proudly. Everyone laughs. The end. Peppa Pig, I can be anything. Peppa Pig loves to play dress up. Wow. She uses her imagination to become all kinds of different characters. Mummy and Daddy Pig always tell her she can be anything she wants to be when she grows up. Peppa likes to pretend to be many different things. In dance class, Peppa imagines she is a famous ballerina. On opening night, she wears her favourite tutu and jumps, dances and twirls across the stage. At breakfast time, Peppa imagines she is a chef. Sometimes when Daddy Pig cooks, he needs a little extra help. When Peppa visits Mummy Pig's volunteer firehouse, Peppa imagines she is a firefighter too. Wow! In the fire truck, it is Peppa's job to sound the siren as the firefighters rush to the rescue. Wee-oo, wee-oo. At the hospital, while visiting Pedro Pony, Peppa imagines she is a nurse. Open up and say ah, Nurse Peppa says. With Nurse Peppa, a speedy recovery is just around the corner. Hooray! At the playground, Peppa imagines she is a construction worker. She helps the construction team fill a hole with cement. She digs, moves, pours, and gets the job done right. When Peppa, George and their friends play make-believe, Peppa imagines she is an astronaut. Peppa and her space team travel to the moon in a rocket ship. 3, 2, 1, blast off! Peppa loves to imagine that she can be anything when she grows up. But for now, she likes to play pretend and have a new adventure every day. The end. Peppa Pig, Grampy Rabbit's Lighthouse. Peppa, George and Danny Dog are helping deliver supplies to Grandad Dog's friend, Grampy Rabbit. Where does Grampy Rabbit live? Asked Peppa. Out at sea on a rock, says Grandad Dog. On a rock, says Peppa. Yes, in that lighthouse, says Danny. Wow. Oh, gasped Peppa and George. They land at the lighthouse. Hooray! Visitors! Exclaims Grampy Rabbit. I haven't had visitors in many a moon. I get lonely with just the sea and the sky for company. How long have you been here? Asked Peppa. Since Tuesday, says Grampy Rabbit. I've got tales to tell, says Grampy Rabbit, if you'd like to hear. No thanks, says Grandad Dog quickly. Yes, please, reply Peppa and Danny. Grampy Rabbit starts to sing. I got up this morning, the sea was still there, so was the sky, the sea, the sky, the sea, the sky. Peppa and Danny join in. Why is your house called the Lighthouse? Asks Peppa. I'll show you, says Grampy Rabbit. They climb a staircase to the very top of the lighthouse. It's called a lighthouse because it has this big light at the top, says Grampy Rabbit.
Wow!
It shines through the dark, helping sailors find their way. Grampy Rabbit takes out a megaphone. And when it's foggy, I use this foghorn, he says. Fog! That's loud, cries Peppa. No fog today, just sea and sky, says Grampy Rabbit sadly. The stories I could tell. No thanks, says Grandad Dog. We must be going. Peppa, George, Danny and Grandad Dog set off for home. It is now very dark. Don't worry, says Grandad Dog. The light from Grampy Rabbit's lighthouse will show us the way home. Grampy Rabbit is ready for bed, so he turns the light out. He also turns the big light out. Grandad Dog phones Grampy Rabbit. Could you turn the big light on again? He asks. The big light shines again. Hooray! Cry Peppa and Danny. It is getting foggy. I can't see the light anymore, says Peppa. Grandad Dog phones Grampy Rabbit. It's us again, he says. Can you sound the foghorn, please? Fog! Bellows Grampy Rabbit. Fog! Grampy Rabbit's voice is like a foghorn. Thanks to Grampy Rabbit, they arrived back safe on land.
Hooray!
Mummy Pig, Daddy Pig, and Mrs. Dog are waiting to take them home. We went to a lighthouse, says Peppa excitedly. Grampy Rabbit's lighthouse guided us home safely, says Grandad Dog. Grampy Rabbit sang a song. Would you like to hear it? Asks Peppa. No thanks, says Grandad Dog. Yes, please, say the parents. Peppa and Danny sing. I got up this morning, the sea was still there, so was the sky, the sea, the sky. The end. Peppa Pig. Peppa loves our planet. It was Love Our Planet week at Playgroup. Peppa and her friends were very excited. Welcome, children, said Madame Gazelle, pointing to a picture of the world. This is Earth, the planet we live on. Wow, gasped the children. The little things we do to look after our planet can make a big difference, continued Madame Gazelle. Can anybody think of some things we can do to help? Recycle, cried Peppa. Use less water, said Pedro Pony. Grow our own snacks, squeaked Rebecca Rabbit. Walk, not drive, said Zoe Zebra. Save electricity, barked Danny Dog, switching off the light. All excellent ideas, said Madame Gazelle. Well done, but let's turn the lights back on for now, Danny, so we can see. Okay, said Danny. Now, children, I'd like you each to make a Love Our Planet scrapbook at home, said Madame Gazelle. You can fill it with all the things you do to help look after our planet and then bring it in for show and tell. Ooh, gasped Peppa and her friends excitedly. They loved making scrapbooks and they loved show and tell. At home time, Daddy Pig arrived with Peppa and George's scooters.
Can we scooter home every day, Daddy?
asked Peppa.
It will be better for our planet if we don't use the car.
Great idea, Peppa, said Daddy Pig. I love scootering. Daddy Pig raced off and Peppa and George scootered after him.
Wait for us, Daddy,
cried Peppa. When they got home, Peppa and George helped Mummy and Daddy Pig with dinner.
If we put the peelings in the waste bin, Grandpa can use the compost for his garden,
said Peppa.
Then he can look after our planet too.
Lovely idea, Peppa, said Mummy Pig. We can take them to Grandpa tomorrow. The next day, Peppa and George scootered over to Granny and Grandpa Pig's house with the food waste bin. Thank you, Peppa, said Grandpa Pig, thrilled with his gift. Over time, these peelings will turn into compost, which will be very fantastic food for my plants and will help my garden grow very nicely.
And it will help look after our planet,
said Peppa. Then Grandpa Pig had a surprise. He gave Peppa and George a window box to take home. These flowers are very important, he explained. Bees and butterflies love them. We need insects to help plants make seeds.
Thank you, Grandpa,
cried Peppa, buzzing around and pretending to be a bee.
I'm a busy bee, looking after our planet. Buzz, buzz.
George giggled. When they arrived home from Granny and Grandpa Pig's house, Peppa and George watered their lovely new window box.
Look, George, cried Peppa. All these bees and butterflies have come to visit our new flowers. We're looking after our planet.
After lunch, it was time to pop to the shops.
Daddy, remember to bring some old shopping bags so we don't have to get new ones,
said Peppa. Great idea, Peppa, said Daddy Pig, picking up some shopping bags to reuse. Right, let's go. Just as they were leaving, George pointed to the light switch.
He wants to turn off the light to look after our planet,
explained Peppa. Thank you, George, said Mummy Pig. I'll do it for you. From now on, your job can be to remind us to turn off the lights. George grinned. He was very happy with his new job. That evening, Peppa and George tidied up and put everything into the right recycling bins. Let's sing the recycling song, said Peppa. Recycle, recycle, we're going to recycle tin cans, bottles, newspapers. Recycle, recycle, we're going to recycle. We'll take everything to Mr. Bull's recycling depot tomorrow, said Mummy Pig. But there's still one more thing left for us to do today. Our scrapbooks, cheered Peppa. Peppa and George used some of the cardboard from the recycling bin to make their Love Our Planet scrapbooks. Then they drew and stuck in pictures of all the different things they had done to help look after our planet. Wow, what lovely scrapbooks, said Daddy Pig.
They're recycled, Daddy,
said Peppa proudly. At bedtime, Daddy Pig was the last one to brush his teeth.
Make sure you turn off the tap while you're brushing, Daddy, said Peppa. That way you won't waste any water.
Slang slapper,
mumbled Daddy Pig through a mouthful of toothpaste. The next morning at playgroup, Peppa, George and their friends showed Madame Gazelle their Love Our Planet scrapbooks. Fantastic work, children, said Madame Gazelle. You found lots of ways to look after our planet. I hope you've all learned that when it comes to looking after our planet, every little thing makes a big difference, shouted Peppa and her friends, finishing Madame Gazelle's sentence for her. Peppa, George and their friends love our planet. Everyone loves our planet. The end.
Peppa Pig Recycling Fun. Mr. Bull, the bin man, is collecting the rubbish. It is early in the morning, so he tries to be as quiet as he can. Crash, smash, splash! But Mr. Bull is not very good at being quiet. Hello, Mr. Bull, snorts Daddy Pig, Peppa and George. Hello, everyone, says Mr. Bull. Peppa and George are helping to clear up the breakfast things. We don't put bottles in the rubbish bin. They can be recycled, says Mummy Pig. Soon they have collected enough things so Peppa and her family set off for the recycle centre. Mummy Pig has the bottles and Peppa has the tin cans. George has the newspapers. Is everybody ready? asked Daddy Pig. Yes, shout Peppa and George. Clink, clink, rattle, rattle, rustle, rustle. Soon they arrive at Miss Rabbit's recycle centre. Miss Rabbit is sitting up high, up inside a big crane. She is busy recycling all the rusty old cars. It is very noisy. Who knows which bin the bottles go in? asks Mummy Pig. The green one, says Peppa. That's right, snorts Daddy Pig. Clink, clink. And the cans go in the blue one, says Peppa. Well done, Peppa, says Mummy Pig. Rattle, rattle. Daddy Pig lifts George up so he can empty the newspapers into the red bin. Rustle, rustle. Where's our car gone? asks Daddy Pig. Stand back, shouts Miss Rabbit from up above them. Miss Rabbit is about to recycle Peppa's car. Stop, shouts Peppa. Our car isn't old and rusty. Ha ha, silly me, says Miss Rabbit. I just love recycling. So do we, laughs Peppa. But we also love our little car. The end. Peppa Pig and the Earth Day Adventure. It's Earth Day, and Peppa Pig and her family are ready to celebrate with a visit to the botanical gardens.
Wow! Hooray!
Before they go, Peppa and George sort the recycling. Newspapers go in the red bin, cans go in the blue bin, and bottles go in the green bin. Vegetable scraps and eggshells go into the compost bin, says Peppa. Grandpa Pig will use the compost in his garden. Ew, says George. It's time to go, and Daddy Pig has a surprise. An electric car. This car runs on batteries instead of gas. That helps the air stay clean. The car even has a name. It is called Roger. This car can drive itself, says Daddy Pig. Peppa and George look out the window on the way to the botanical gardens.
Look, says Peppa, a windmill. Ew, says George. Mr. Bull built a windmill near my school, says Peppa. The wind turns the blades and they make electricity. Whoosh, says George. At the botanical gardens, Peppa and her family meet Miss Rabbit. Welcome, she says. Would you like to see the wildflower garden? Yes, please, says Peppa. Look at all the bees, says Mammy Pig. The bees and flowers help each other. Miss Rabbit tells them, the bees take pollen from one flower and move it to another one. That helps the flower make seeds which grow into new flowers.
Wow!
Peppa and her family visit the room with cacti and palm trees. Peppa sees a new plant.
What is that?
She says.
That's a Venus flytrap, Miss Rabbit says. It eats flies.
Peppa and George watch while the plant eats a fly.
Wow,
says Peppa.
jump,
Says George. The next room is very wet.
This is a rainforest garden, says Miss Rabbit. These plants need lots of water.
Miss Rabbit flips a switch and turns on the rain. Next, they head outside to the children's garden, where they find something really special. A muddy puddle. Peppa's friends are visiting the botanical gardens today too.
Hello, Susie Sheep. Hello, Pedro Pony. Hello, Mandy Mouse,
she says. On the way home, Daddy has a rest while Roger drives the car.
Wow!
It's like magic,
says Peppa. Police officers, Panda and Squirrel stop Daddy Pig's car because Daddy Pig doesn't have his hands on the wheel. But it's okay, Roger is driving. Roger shows his driver's license to the officers. It's dark when the family returns home. It has been a great Earth Day.
Will you be all right out here, Roger?
Asked Peppa. Oh, yes, says Roger.
Good night, Peppa. Good night, Roger,
Says Peppa.
Happy Earth Day.
Hooray!
The end. Peppa Pig, Peppa's first colours. Zoe Zebra has made a yellow sandcastle at the beach. What else can you see that's yellow? A yellow sandcastle. A yellow trumpet. A yellow dress.
Wow!
Yellow boots. What can you see in the square? Wendy Wolf is wearing her green hat. What else can you see that's green? A green hat. A green bucket.
Wow!
A green car. A green dinosaur. What can you see in the diamond? Richard Rabbit loves riding his red tricycle. What else can you see that's red? A red feather, a red tricycle, red pyjamas, a red backpack. What can you see in the star? George Pig is wearing a blue crown. What else can you see that's blue? A blue crown, a blue helmet, a blue ball, a blue cup. What can you see in the triangle? Peppa Pig is cuddling her orange teddy bear. What else can you see that's orange? An orange balloon, an orange teddy bear, orange water wings, an orange bouncer, orange ears. The end. Peppa Pig, Peppa's Friends. Peppa loves dressing up. So do her friends.
Hooray!
Peppa is a fairy.
I can do magic.
Susie Sheep is a nurse.
I'll make you better.
Hooray!
Danny Dog is a pirate.
Wow!
I'm looking for buried treasure.
Pedro Pony is a clown.
I can make you laugh.
Candy Cat is a witch.
Meow!
I can do spells.
Rebecca Rabbit is a carrot.
Wow!
I like carrots.
Peppa has lots of fun dressing up with her friends. The end. Peppa Pig School Project. It is the end of the day at Peppa's playgroup.
For your school project, I want you to go home and make a castle,
says Madame Gazelle.
Use your imagination and make it big and fantastic. Can we use glitter?
Asked Susie Sheep.
Not too much glitter, it gets everywhere,
says Madame Gazelle. The next morning, Peppa is eating breakfast.
I'm doing a school project,
says Peppa.
I need to make a castle.
Stick these yogurt pots on this cereal box, says Daddy Pig.
No, Daddy, it has to be good,
says Peppa. I see, replies Daddy Pig. Over at Susie's house, Susie and Mummy Sheep are looking at the computer. Are you sure Madame Gazelle told you to make a real fairy palace? Asks Mummy Sheep.
Yes, says Susie, with all the little fiddly bits.
Right, says Mummy Sheep. I think I'll stay at home today. Back at Peppa's house, Peppa draws a picture of the castle she wants to make.
But it needs to be big enough for me to live in,
says Peppa. We need to find a big cardboard box then, says Mummy Pig. Just then, the doorbell rings. Ding dong. Mr. Zebra is at the door with a delivery. It's just a light bulb, says Daddy Pig, opening up the big box. Why do they use so much packaging?
Shall I take the box away?
asks Mr. Zebra.
No, shouts Peppa. We need it for my project.
After Mr. Zebra leaves, Mammy and Daddy Pig start making Peppa's castle.
Wow.
Peppa calls Susie on the phone.
How is your school project going?
Asks Peppa.
It's going very well,
Says Susie. Mammy Sheep puts a tower on the palace.
It needs to be more pointy,
Says Susie.
How is your castle going?
Asks Susie.
It's hard work, says Peppa, but Mammy and Daddy are helping a teeny tiny bit.
What do you think of this tower, Peppa? Asks Daddy Pig.
It looks a bit cardboardy,
Says Peppa.
I need to get on with my work now. Goodbye, Susie.
Daddy Pig has painted Peppa's castle so it doesn't look so cardboardy anymore. Says Peppa.
It just needs one more thing. Glitter.
No, not glitter, replies Daddy Pig. The next morning, Peppa and her friends have brought their castles to playgroup. Susie's fairy palace is very glittery. Wendy Wolf's castle is very glittery. Candy Cat's castle is very glittery. Emily Elephant's castle is very glittery.
My castle is made out of a cardboard box and lots of glitter,
Says Peppa.
It is a very fine castle,
Says Madame Gazelle.
and so sparkly.
Now Madame Gazelle is very glittery. Peppa is very glittery. Even Mummy Pig is very glittery. Everyone is very glittery.
Wow.
Isn't it wonderful what children can make using just their imaginations?
Says Madame Gazelle.
And my castle is big enough for me to live in.
Says Peppa.
Hooray!
Peppa loves school projects. Everyone loves school projects, especially glittery ones. The end. Peppa Pig, Fix It, Daddy Pig. The toy is broken. Daddy Pig will fix it. The wall is broken.
Oh no!
Daddy Pig will fix it. The car is broken. Daddy Pig will fix it.
Hooray!
The screen is broken. Daddy Pig will fix it. The clock is broken. Daddy Pig will fix it. The kite is stuck. Daddy Pig will fix it. Look at that mud. Daddy Pig will fix it.
Hooray!
Hooray for Daddy. He is the Fix-It Pig. The end. Peppa Pig. Merry Christmas, Peppa. It is Christmas Day. Peppa and her family are opening their presents. Peppa unwraps a toy car. George unwraps a toy aeroplane. Hooray! They cheer. Vroom! Daddy Pig reminds them to be careful when playing. But Peppa is too excited. She trips and bumps her arm. Ow! Peppa says she is very hurt. Thankfully, Mummy Pig knows just who to call. Dr. Brown Bear. Dr. Brown Bear is sitting at his desk. A bumped arm, you say? And on Christmas Day? I'll be right there, Dr. Brown Bear says. Dr. Brown Bear arrives at Peppa's house. Can you wiggle your fingers? He asks Peppa. Peppa can. That's very good, Dr. Brown Bear says. But just to be safe, we'll take a trip to the hospital. At the hospital, Dr. Brown Bear takes Peppa to see Miss Rabbit. Miss Rabbit is the nurse. Peppa looks around. She sees lots of Christmas decorations.
Ooh, Miss Rabbit, the hospital is all Christmassy,
Peppa says. Yes, Miss Rabbit replies.
Looks lovely, doesn't it?
Miss Rabbit takes a picture of Peppa's arm with the X-ray. An X-ray shows her the bones inside Peppa's body.
The X-ray shows your arm will be fine,
Miss Rabbit announces.
and for being brave, you get a sticker. Hooray!
Peppa cheers. Peppa loves stickers. Peppa walks out of Miss Rabbit's office. She sees a bed with Pedro Pony in it. Pedro Pony has bumped his leg. He has a sticker too, but Pedro looks sad.
I'm sad because Father Christmas hasn't come,
says Pedro Pony. Peppa is alarmed. That means Pedro hasn't gotten a Christmas present. Then Peppa and Pedro hear a voice in the hallway. Ho, 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 the voice says. It's Father Christmas. I'm here with Pedro's Christmas present, Father Christmas says.
Thank you, Father Christmas,
Pedro says.
I wonder what it is.
He unwraps the present. It is a toy boat. Pedro loves his present. Sorry I'm a bit late. I got stuck in a chimney, Father Christmas laughs. Thank you, Miss Rabbit, for looking after everyone at Christmas time. Peppa loves Christmas, even if it's at the hospital. Merry Christmas! Ho, 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 ho. The end. Peppa goes swimming. It's a lovely sunny day, and Peppa and her family are at the swimming pool.
Peppa, George, let Daddy put on your armbands,
snorts Mummy Pig. Today is George's first time at the pool, and he's a bit scared of getting in. Why don't you just put one foot in the water? Suggests Daddy Pig. Maybe George should try both feet at the same time, says Mummy Pig. Splash! Mummy Pig convinces George to jump into the water, and he loves it. Shouts George happily. Ho, ho. Well done, George, snorts Daddy Pig. Rebecca Rabbit, her brother Richard, and their mother arrive at the pool too.
Hello, everyone,
Cries Rebecca.
Squeak, squeak.
Says Richard.
Richard, hold on to this float so you can practice kicking your legs,
Says Miss Rabbit.
George, would you like to try kicking your legs too?
Asks Mummy Pig. Giggles George. Ho, ho. Very good, laughs Daddy Pig. But please try not to splash.
Big children don't splash,
Asks Peppa.
big children are very good at swimming.
Declares Peppa.
When George and Richard are older, they will be able to swim like us, won't they, Rebecca?
Yes, says Rebecca, as she watches the boys kick and splash. Peppa and Rebecca race each other up and down the pool with their swimming armbands on. They are having lots of fun swimming and splashing in the water. Oops! Richard has dropped his toy watering can into the pool.
Mommy,
Cries Richard. Sorry, Richard, I can't reach it. It's too far down, says Miss Rabbit. Luckily, Daddy Pig is an excellent swimmer. He takes off his glasses and dives down to get it. There you go, snorts Daddy Pig. Says Richard. Well done, Daddy, says Mammy Pig.
Yes, thank you, Daddy Pig,
says Miss Rabbit. Oh dear, Richard is so happy to have his watering can back that he splashes Daddy Pig with water. George laughs. What a silly little piggy and rabbit. Everyone has had a fun day at the swimming pool. The end. Peppa Pig. Peppa goes to Hollywood. Peppa and George were watching their favourite superhero, Super Potato, on television.
wow.
When a trip to America to star in my new film, Vegetables in Space, announced Super Potato. Just find my golden ticket to join me and my co-star, Hash Brown, here in Hollywood. Ooh, gasped Peppa. Peppa ran into the kitchen where Mummy and Daddy Pig were making dinner. Mummy, said Peppa, can we find Super Potato's golden ticket, please? There's only one ticket in the whole world, Peppa, said Mummy Pig. We'd have to be very lucky to find it. Just then, Mummy Pig said, Oh, there's something in this potato. It's the golden ticket, gasped Peppa and Daddy Pig.
Hooray!
We're going to America, cried Mummy Pig. A few days later, they were on the plane. This is your captain speaking, announced their pilot, Miss Rabbit. We'll soon be arriving in America. I think. Does anyone know where it is? Is that it? Asked Peppa, peering through the windows. Peppa was right. It was America. Outside the airport, a bright yellow taxi arrived to collect them. The driver looked very familiar. Miss Rabbit at your service. Where'd you want to go? You're Miss Rabbit, gasped Peppa. We have a Miss Rabbit at home. Every town needs a Miss Rabbit, said the taxi driver. Hop in. Is this Hollywood? Asked Mummy Pig. No, said Miss Rabbit. This is New York, the city that never sleeps. I'll give you a tour. New York was very busy and very big.
Wow.
Miss Rabbit got Peppa and George ice creams, then took everyone to the first stop on her New York tour, the Empire State Building. When they reached the top, Daddy Pig closed his eyes. I can't look, he said. But there's so much to see, Daddy, cried Peppa. Miss Rabbit
popped on her tour guide cap. "With this telescope, you can see the Statue of Liberty," she said. Peppa looked through the telescope and across New York Harbour. "I can see a big green lady with an ice cream," she cried, holding her own cone in the air. "Look at me, I'm the Statue of Liberty." The next stop was Times Square.
Wow.
"Look," called Peppa, pointing at a billboard. "That's the film we're going to be in." "You need to go to Hollywood," said Miss Rabbit. "I have just the thing to get you there." "A motorhome," said Miss Rabbit. She threw Daddy Pig the keys, and Peppa's family climbed aboard. It had been a very busy day in New York. Peppa and her family needed a good night's rest in the motorhome before the journey to Hollywood. "For a city that never sleeps, it's made me very sleepy," said Daddy Pig. The next day, Peppa and her family got straight on the road to Hollywood. "Are we there yet, Daddy Pig?" asked Mummy Pig. Let's ask someone," he replied. They pulled up outside a nearby diner where someone familiar looking was strumming a guitar. "Howdy, folks, I'm Miss Rabbit." "It's another Miss Rabbit," Peppa cried.
Wow.
"Yep, there's loads of us around," replied Miss Rabbit. "Now, what can I do for you? Do you need gas or a bite to eat?" "Are we in Hollywood?" asked Mummy Pig. "No, ma'am. You're a long way away from Hollywood," said Miss Rabbit. "But as you're here, why don't you get some home cooking in your bellies?" "Well, I suppose I could stop for breakfast," said Daddy Pig. After a delicious breakfast of eggs, Miss Rabbit took Peppa's family country dancing and monster trucking. "Daddy's truck is jumping up and down in muddy puddles," Peppa cheered. But there was no time to waste if they were going to make it to the film set. Peppa and her family had to say goodbye. "Hash Brown is my favourite actor," said Miss Rabbit. "Tell him howdy from me." Daddy Pig drove for miles and miles until... "Stop!" yelled Mr. Bison. "Canyon ahead, and if you want to know more, there's an information desk over there." Peppa and her family met another Miss Rabbit at the information desk. She gave them a tour of the Grand Canyon in her helicopter. "Wow!" cried Peppa. "Amazing, isn't it?" said Miss Rabbit. "These rocks have been here since the time of the dinosaurs."
Wow.
"Dinosaur!" shouted George. Miss Rabbit's tour continued with a ride down some rapids and a visit to the Grand Canyon Caverns, where she showed them animal pictures drawn a long time ago. "Ew!" cried George. Daddy Pig drove out of the desert. "Are we nearly there yet?" asked Peppa. "I don't know," said Daddy Pig. "Let's stop and look at the map." "Sir, did you know you must only stop on a freeway if it is an emergency?" said Police Rabbit. "It's another Miss Rabbit," said Peppa. "Miss Rabbit, it is an emergency. We've won tickets to be in Super Potato's new film, Vegetables in Space," added Mummy Pig. "In that case, head straight on until you see the Hollywood sign. If you don't see the sign, look out for the stars," said Miss Rabbit. George spotted them first.
Wow. Star, star,
he shouted. Then Peppa spotted 2 real-life stars. "It's Super Potato and Hash Brown," she cried.
We won the competition to be in your film, Vegetables in Space, said Peppa.
Then let's get to the studio, cried Super Potato. We've got a film to make.
Hooray!
On the film set, Peppa and her family were dressed up as broccoli. Then the filming began. Lights, camera, action. Hundreds of space carrots zoomed towards Super Potato and Hash Brown's spaceship. Oh no! Shouted Super Potato. These naughty carrots will destroy the universe.
If only there were some way of getting rid of them, cried Hash Brown. We could eat them, said Peppa, but it looks like there are too many.
Just then, some unexpected visitors arrived at the studio.
Hello,
Said several familiar voices.
we couldn't miss meeting Hash Brown.
It was Miss Rabbit, Miss Rabbit, Miss Rabbit, Miss Rabbit, and Miss Rabbit.
We have to eat the carrots,
Explained Peppa.
it's to save the universe.
The Miss Rabbits were very happy to help. They loved carrots even more than they loved Hash Brown. We did it! Cried Super Potato. Hooray! Everyone cheered. The universe was saved thanks to Peppa and all the Miss Rabbits.
Have you had a good time on your trip, Peppa?
Asked one Miss Rabbit.
Yes,
Said Peppa.
the best bit was everything.
Peppa loves Hollywood. Everyone loves Hollywood. The end. Peppa Pig. Peppa goes to the library. Peppa and George are tucked up in bed and Mummy Pig is reading them a story about a red monkey.
Oh,
Says Peppa.
we always have this story. It's boring. Can I choose another one?
Peppa looks on the shelf and finds a new book. The Wonderful World of Concrete, reads Mummy Pig. Daddy, is this yours? Oh, gasped Daddy Pig. I borrowed that from the library a long time ago. In the morning we'll go to the library, says Mummy Pig, but now it's bedtime.
Please read your book to us, Daddy,
says Peppa. Daddy Pig reads, but everyone falls asleep. Snore, snore. It is morning, and Peppa and her family are driving to the library.
What's the library, Daddy?
Asked Peppa. It's a place you borrow books from, says Daddy Pig. Peppa, George, Mummy and Daddy Pig have arrived at the library.
What a lot of books!
Shouts Peppa. Shh, whispers Daddy Pig. You must be quiet in the library. People are reading. Mummy Pig returns the books. Beep boop. The computer says, Daddy Pig's book is very late. You've had this book out for 10 years, says Miss Rabbit.
Naughty Daddy,
Whispers Peppa. It's time for everyone to choose their books,
Dinosaur. Wow.
cries George, choosing a book about dinosaurs. Peppa chooses 3 books for herself, and Daddy Pig finds another one about concrete.
You must make sure to bring your books back,
Says Miss Rabbit.
I'll make sure Daddy remembers,
Says Peppa. Yes, Peppa, adds Daddy Pig. I'm sure you will. The end. Peppa Pig, Peppa's Big Race. Peppa's family are going on a bike ride. Mummy Pig, Daddy Pig and George all ride together on a tandem. "Are you sure you won't get tired, Peppa?" says Daddy Pig.
I'm sure, Daddy,
Says Peppa.
I will ride my own bike.
Peppa likes being ahead of Mummy Pig, Daddy Pig and George.
I'm winning.
Cries Peppa. "It's not a race, Peppa," says Daddy Pig. "It's a gentle bike ride." Cycling uphill is difficult,
I don't like going uphill.
calls Peppa. "I think we won the race," calls Daddy Pig.
But I wasn't racing that time.
Says Peppa, panting.
Hello, ducks.
Says Peppa as she rings her bell.
We're cycling today.
The ducks quack as she goes by. Peppa's friends are riding their bikes too,
We're going to have a race.
says Danny Dog.
Do you want to race too?
Asks Susie Sheep.
Yes, please.
Says Peppa.
As long as it's a downhill race.
Daddy Pig honks a horn to tell everyone to go. Danny Dog is in the lead, but then just at the last moment, Peppa overtakes him. Peppa reaches the bottom of the hill first,
I win.
cries Peppa.
Well done, Peppa.
Everyone cheers.
Thank you, says Peppa. I am very good at cycling downhill.
It's time to go home.
I'm tired. Can I ride your bike, Daddy?
So Daddy Pig rides Peppa's bike home,
Do you like my bike, Daddy?
says Peppa. Yes, says Daddy Pig, but it is a little small. The end. Peppa Pig, Peppa's new friend. Peppa and her friends are drawing pictures at school. Then someone new arrives. "Children, today we have a visitor," Madame Gazelle says. The visitor's name is Mandy Mouse. If Mandy Mouse likes a playgroup, she will come every day. All the children say hello.
I'm Peppa Pig,
Says Peppa.
We're drawing pictures.
Mandy draws her own picture.
That's really good.
Says Peppa. At playtime, all of the children race down the hill. Mandy is very fast.
Why do you have a wheelchair?
Peppa asks.
Because my legs don't work.
Mandy says.
But I get around fine.
Outside, the children decide to play basketball. The team that gets the ball through the hoop wins. Mandy catches the ball and wheels very fast. She passes the ball to Gerald. He throws the ball in the hoop. Their team wins. Everyone has lots of fun. Soon playtime is over. The children hurry back inside. The hill back to the school is very big.
Can I help you?
Peppa asks Mandy.
I can do it myself.
Mandy says.
But it is a big hill.
Peppa pushes Mandy up the hill.
Thank you, Peppa.
Mandy says.
I could do it on my own, but it's easier with two.
Back inside, the parents arrive to pick up the children. "So, Mandy," Madame Gazelle says. Would you like to come every day? Yes, please, Mandy says. Everyone cheers. Mandy Mouse loves her new friends, and her friends love Mandy Mouse. The end.
Hi kids, did you have fun watching this video? Then like and subscribe for more.